Should you put your home in your child's name? Elder law attorney Eric Goldberg is here with us today, and he's going to answer that question.
Thanks, Joe. So this is a question that we field almost on a weekly basis. Why would an individual want to transfer ownership of their largest asset and probably their most appreciated asset to another individual, usually a family member? Well, the predominant reason is to avoid Medicaid problems down the road. So they're thinking to themselves, wow, this very large asset is at risk of being taken by Medicaid. So the first misapprehension is that Medicaid doesn't take things. Medicaid's not in the real estate business. What Medicaid does is they ask you to spend down your assets to under $2,000 in order to qualify for Medicaid. Secondly, the home is an exempt asset so long as you're living there. However, you do want to protect the home. You want to avoid, number one, if you have to move to an assisted living facility or to a skilled nursing facility, you do want to avoid having to spend the proceeds of the sale of that home down. So what do people do? Well, they usually transfer their home to their adult children. And this creates an enormous amount of risk. First risk is that the individual that you've transferred it to is sued, or they go through a divorce, or they could potentially predecease you. And then their will, or if they don't have a will, the state of New Jersey decides where your asset goes. And it may not be going to a family member. There are also multiple tax consequences. And I won't get too deeply into those, but there are two major tax consequences that you want to avoid. The first is that when you sell a home that you've lived in for 2 of the last 5 years, that home has a $250,000 capital gains exclusion. That's blown by giving it away. Secondly, when one passes away having owned appreciated assets, that asset gets what's known as a step up in basis. The end result is that your heirs do not pay capital gains. But if you've given that home away during your lifetime, you've also squandered that opportunity for your heirs. This is potentially a multi-$100,000 mistake. So what we recommend is that you go see an elder law attorney so that they can advise you how to protect that home.
So this is very interesting. Is there ever a situation where you would recommend someone to put their child's name or someone's name on their home?
There are certain circumstances, albeit rare, if the individual is living in the home, that way they can take advantage of the primary residence exclusion. If they're an only child, if the home's not worth a whole lot, maybe we would do that. But there are other methods of handling the home.
Okay, and how common is it that people put their child's name on their home?
Very common.
Okay.
Very common. Sometimes we can undo it if it wasn't done too long ago, or if the parent is not in need of care yet. But very often we can't undo it, and they have to live with it and just make sure that they manage the risks.
And why is it that you can't undo it?
Well, for instance, if somebody transferred the home 4 or 5 years ago, and they're suffering from a chronic illness, and maybe they're headed towards a chronic care need, it's probably too late at that point.
Okay. And this question might be totally redundant, but hypothetically, my parents have a $5 million house, hypothetically. They put my name on it. Driving, I'm intoxicated. I hit someone. They're in the hospital. They could lose the house. Is that correct?
They could lose the house.
Okay.
That asset, since it's been transferred to you, is now your asset.
Okay.
So if you are sued for a sum of money over and above what your insurance covers, they are going to be going after your personal assets.
Gotcha.
And that would probably be probably the largest personal asset you own.
Yeah. Sorry for the redundant question.
No, but that is true, and I've seen it happen firsthand.
Amazing.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your time and
No
for
problem.
educating us. Hope this was helpful. Please subscribe, to see future videos, and see you in the next one.
Thank you very much.